This is Iceman John Bailey. I want to talk to you about doing some preseason scouting for early season bow hunting, the pre-rut, and the peak of the rut. I want to start off talking about how I strategize for early season. What I normally do, I pretty much hone in on food plots. What I do, I put a camera in every corner of my plot, and that'll pretty much let me know which trails bucks are using. So within 2 weeks of the season, I'll figure out the main trails that they're using, because quite naturally my camera pretty much tell me. And then I'll check the wind, barometric pressure, and that'll let me know if I want to go in and hunt that day. I like a 30 barometric pressure, and that's, for some reason, I get a lot of deer that way. If I got a buck coming in through this location here, what he normally does, first of all, I figure out where their bedding area is. For the most part, a buck's gonna be in a thicket with blowdowns, swampy areas, and that'll pretty much let you know. And also their trails, they got very narrow trails that you see. Like a doe, her trail is wide and matted down and just tracks everywhere. But a buck, it's almost like he walks in, it's like he got two legs. He just got a real narrow trail where he'll come down, and very noticeable trail. But you got to really figure out what kind of trail he got, because for the most part, a doe trail, it's just a doe's trail is here, a buck's trail is going to be over here, walk next to her, and that's what he does. And he's real skittish, real nervous, and he used that doe for the alarm signal. So getting back to this early season hunting, what I normally do, I focus on my food plot, and whichever camera holds the most pictures of the same buck or bucks, that's when I hone in on where I'm gonna put my stand at. So what I normally do, this trail here, this is a bottleneck where you got open area here. All of this is open. Over here is open, and this is where the property starts. So what the bucks are gonna do, they're gonna come up through here first. They're not gonna come up. Not gonna come out in this opening and come into the food plot. They're gonna come. Just say if they got a funnel over here. Just assuming that they got a funnel over here, and what they're gonna do, they're gonna come through that funnel, and then they're gonna come into my trail. Or if they got a funnel down here, they're gonna come through this funnel. Even if it's a fence line, they'll do that. But they'll do it kind of late. They ain't gonna do it in the middle of the day, not unless it's during a rut. They'll come down this funnel, and then they'll come up through this bottleneck. And once they come up to this bottleneck, they'll hit the trail, then they'll turn into the food plot. So what I do, I place a stand like 20 yards off of that main trail. Mainly, I know which ones I know is going into the food plot pretty heavy. So I place a stand here if the trail is real heavy here. If the trail is heavy here, over this area here, coming from this thicket, I put a stand here. And what reason why I'm putting a stand here, because if they come through here or even here, I can get a shot. So I mean, that's pretty simple. I don't want to put no stand down here because I can be skyline. I like to put a stand here, and I have some back foliage to my back. I'm not worried about my front too much. I like to have foliage in my stand behind me as a backdrop and on my sides. So that kind of eliminate the buck catching me from standing up from behind, or he can see any side movement. Because if I'm sitting in that stand, I don't look natural. I look out of place. I don't look like I'm part of the woods. So I like to put foliage on my sides and in my back. I don't like to just climb the tree and just sit there, because I'm telling you, if I look up and see a human in a tree, I know he don't belong there. But if I look up and see foliage breaking his silhouette up, I might miss him. But deer, you gotta be smart. You know, you definitely gotta be smart about that. Okay, going into that October thing. A lot of guys don't hunt during October, but what I like to do, I'll wait until like October the 15th to hunt, because the pre-rut is coming up. You see, that October 20th weekend, that's when the older does, they come in the estrus for 24 hours. I learned that by mistake when I killed a double drop time year 2000, October 28th, 2000. That's when I found out about bucks chasing does earlier than the peak of the rut. So what I normally do, I focus on acorn crops, and I also focus on doe bedding areas. That's what I do. So those staging areas, I figure out where the bucks is staging, and once I figure out where he's staging, I place a stand just outside his staging area. And I don't place it in the acorn area, because a lot of times a buck, he'll lay down in that stuff. He'll lay down in that stuff at night. And then if I try to slip in there with a stand, or slip in there to my stand, I'm going to bump him. So I put my stand near that, just outside of that staging area, because a lot of times what they'll do, they'll come up through these trails down through the bottleneck or out of the thicket, and then they'll come up and eat on acorns, and they can be in there for 2 or 3 hours doing that, and I'll just wait. I'll put my stand here, or sometimes I'll put my stand over here for that, because what they can do, they can come down through this way to go to the acorns, because they're not going to walk in that real thick stuff. They're going to walk just on their buck trail, just on the outside of that thicket. And if they come in this direction here, I might not get a shot. But if they come in this direction, I can get a shot. I mean, it's like playing chess with deer. You got to figure out what trail what they're on. But I also use cameras. I use a camera in here, and I use a camera on this trail and this trail, and this trail. I don't do it all the time, but sometimes I just use one camera and then I move it around just to see. And sometimes I put 2 or 3 cameras out just to see which camera is getting better results. And then, like I said, when they come out eating them acorns, they'll start walking around like that around about October 15th. They'll start cruising. You know, they're not running, but they're walking around just checking they're checking the inventory. They're seeing how many does is in the area. Bucks they're smart, and that's a good. Like I said, a lot of guys they call it October lull. A lot of guys don't like being in the woods that time of the year, but I do, because bucks are still walking around looking to see, hey, how many girls is in the woods. And I mean, I put my stand here or here to see if I got any bucks coming in that location, because what they'll do is, you got does here, the bucks gonna come around. They might even bump them, especially the old bucks. They'll go check them and bump them and have them running all over the place, and then all of a sudden the woods just blow up. So that's pretty cool. So that's just simple. I just hunt acorn flats during October 15th, and also what I do when October 20th come around, I look for a social scrape. If you find a scrape that has 3 or 4 to 5 trails leading to it, that's considered a social scrape. I mean, you have does and bucks coming to that scrape checking it out. So what I'll do is October 20th, I put a Magnum dripper with my Dragon estrus. I'll just hang it over top that dripper, and I just let it go ahead and drip in there. But I'll take a whole bottle first in that scrape around October 20th, and I'll dump the whole bottle in there. A lot of guys just put 2 or 3 squirts. Not me. I take a 2-ounce bottle and I just pour it straight down in it, and that'll fire those deer up. And then I put a camera on it, and I see what kind of deer is coming into it. And that's for the rut. I'm sorry, that's for the pre-rut. I'm sorry. And I place a stand here. If I know they're hitting it pretty heavy, I put one here, because they're coming up this bottleneck, and that's the only place they can really come in for this particular location here. Because a lot of times during these food plots, you're not going to see no deer come straight into a food plot from an opening. What they're going to do, they're going to hit the bottleneck first, and then they're going to turn and come into the food plot. But just say here, this is just open land here. Not unless it's during a rut. They'll run out through here all day long if it's during a rut. But on that a pre-rut, this cruising phase, they're still skittish, and they're not gonna come out into the opening that much. So I place a stand here, and I try to hunt this social scrape. Well, I place a stand here, because what they do, when they come up this trail here, they hit that social scrape, then they come over to this trail, and then they'll come just on outside of that doe bedding area, looking around. Then they'll hit these trails, and then they'll go back right on back up through here. And if they're hungry, they'll stop and hit the acorns. And by me having a stand here, even here, I can get a shot on that buck, a possible shot, should I say? Okay. And during let's say October 25th, I really hunt this spot here pretty heavy because a lot of the times I get a lot of activity at this camera where I got this dripper just dripping. I mean, I got bucks coming in like crazy, checking here, and they're just beating the branches all up, turning, licking branches up. And then I'll just go ahead and focus on this stand and this stand, because they're going to be coming from either direction to either give me a shot. They're going to either come from this direction to check it, they're going to be coming from this direction to check it. They're not even going to be eating too many acorns around about the 25th, because what they're going to be doing, they're going to be focused more on the girls. So what I'm going to talk about next, I'm going to talk about the peak. What I normally do on the peak rut, I focus on a doe bedding area, and I focus on the social scrape, because I know what's going to happen. The bucks, mainly the mature bucks, they're going to come and check here, and they're going to check here. They're not even going to do much sleeping. I'm not worried about acorns, because they're not going to be eating no acorns. They might go in here to this food plot and nibble at night or in the middle of the day, but for the most part, they're going to be cruising. I mean, they're going to be cruising, looking for does. So what I do, I place a stand here, and I place a stand here again. But I mainly focus on this stand here, because you got bucks, they can be coming from this direction, they can be coming from this direction, they can be coming from this direction, that direction. So by me having to stand here, if they come down through this trail here, I can get a shot. If they come through this trail here, I can get a shot from here, or I can get a shot from here. Or if they go check this social scrape, which is a lot of times they'll do first thing in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll go ahead and I'll get a 20-yard shot from there. But if they come over here and check this doe bedding area, they're going to either come down, they're going to come down here, and if come down here, because a lot of this is thick, I get a 25, 30-yard shot. And a lot of times, they're not even coming down no trail, they're just running through the woods. So by me being, this is I call it a universal. I call this my buck killing tree. If I'm here, I could pretty much just sit there and just wait, because to me, during a rut, you can't just climb the tree and get down 10 o'clock, because I harvest a lot of my bucks around about 2 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and unfortunately, I get them just before dark. That's why I put that kisser button on my string. So I'm at full draw. I ain't got to worry about fooling around with that peep sight. And like I said, my does, I see them going in and out of that bedding area all the time. So by me having to stand here, this is, like I said, this is my universal stand here, where I get a lot of bucks out of this one stand, because they come down through these trails and they even come this direction here, and they'll run a doe or does past my stand. I mean, they be in hot pursuit, and they'll run these does past my stand, and I'll just stand up. And also what I'll do is I run a scent line, a drag rag. I run a drag rag when I come through my stand. I run a drag rag down this trail here. This is in between the woods, right here, in between the woods and the CRP field. Got a CRP field here, and then you got the food plot. I run a drag rag here. Then I come in and turn, and I'm going across all these trails here, and I'll turn, and I go past my stand, around my stand, and hang it in this location here. So what the bucks will do, if they run those does straight through here into the bedding area, and if the does aren't in heat, what they'll do, the bucks, they'll leave. I know they'll come back out, but the does will stay in there. The bucks will come back out right on this trail. They might go up on this trail too, but for the most part, what he's doing, he's going back to where he came from. So they'll, what I'll do by me having this drag line, the scent line on this trail, he's pretty much saying, oh man, it's a hot doe. So he'll come back out, hit this trail, boom, pick up that scent line, come back in, right behind my stand, right around there, give me a shot. Because when he's turning, when he's behind my tree and turning with his nose down, I already got my bow back. And I know he's going to stop right about there. Don't never run a drag rag up to your tree. Always go around your tree. Sometimes you can do a circle, but go around the tree, stop somewhere where you just pretty much out in front of you. Don't be in an awkward position where you have your scent wick hung up after you done drug it. Always put it out in front of you, because what a buck, when he's in hot pursuit of that scent line, he ain't paying no attention to you. But you still want to be quiet as you can. Just already be at full draw and just wait till it stops. Even just grunt with your mouth or something to get him to stop. But that's what I do with that drag rag. Like I said, that doe bedding area, hot, hot, hot. And the social scrape is a hot way to harvest a buck every single year. That's what I've been doing. A lot of guys say, man, how do you shoot 2 bucks in Georgia a year? I just fine tune. It took me 33 years of bow hunting. It took me 20 years to really fine tune on how to hunt, because you can't just get up a tree, kill a buck. You gotta do your homework and get in there and get it. Because I scout probably about 60 days a year, and I only hunt about 10. So that's why I kill a lot of deer, because first of all, a lot of guys say if you're not in the woods, you don't kill deer. If you're in the woods all the time, that's why you ain't killing no deer, because your scent is in there all the time. But I cut a trail, a walking trail. I do that off season, and when I walk in, I'm not touching nothing. I'm just going to my cameras and going back out. And I stay on those trails. I don't be brushing up. Don't be brushing up against limbs and putting your hands all on trees and stuff. Try not to touch nothing. You know, spray your boots if you need to. I don't spray my boots. I use the Iris Setters, and I had all kinds of boots. But anyway, I hope this helped you, and I hope it didn't complicate the thing. But that's just the way I do it. I've harvested, gosh, 28 shooters so far, and it's been working for me. It took me a while to really get there. I would harvest 1 here, 1 there, but for me to get 2 a year, I'm not patting myself on the back, because it's hard work. But if you don't do your homework, you might get 1 during a rut, because if you get up the tree during a rut, anything can come in. But like I said, during that peak, I'll sit there all day long. I know one time I sat there from 7 a.m. to 5:58. And 5:58, I shot a big 8-pointer, and I was toast. After I shot that deer, because he weighed 208 pounds. I had to drag that thing up by myself, and I left a 4-wheeler home. And boy, was I tired. During the post rut, I hunted pretty much the same as the early season, because for the most part they're gonna go right back to food source. A lot of acorns gonna be gone. They're gonna be walking through the woods looking for it, but for the most part they're gonna go to the green. They're gonna go to soybeans or brassica or clover or something. So I just go right back to your early season tactic, but also use the estrus. I like to use estrus. I will put estrus around me in the area, and I will focus on the social scrape during the post rut, and I focus on that food plot. I will hunt that stand, and I will hunt this stand. But I will have estrus over here with me if I'm hunting this stand, and I definitely got estrus still in that dripper. and that's what I would pretty much do. You can still have some bucks cruising, looking around for those, but they still gonna smell that estrus and come in and possibly give you a shot. All right, but anyway, Iceman signing out. I hope this helped you. I hope you guys have a successful season this year. Just get out there and put them down. Be safe. Wear the safety harness. Be respectful for other people's property, and you'll definitely go further than you are. But if you be disrespectful of somebody else's property, like poaching and all that stuff, what goes around come around. God'll get you. Man might not see you, but God sees you. So always be respectful for everybody else's property, cameras, stands, and everything. So if you see somebody standing in the woods, you just happen to cross the line, leave it there. Don't touch it. That's not yours. All right. God bless. Hope you guys, like I said, once again, have a safe season. And y'all be safe out there. And like I said, wear that safety harness. Early season, even wear your snake boots. God bless. Take care.